All right, so the homework from last week, and if you emailed me or you Twitch messaged me your homework before, when did I start checking these? Like Saturday or Sunday. If you messaged me before then with your homework, you hopefully got a reply. I think I replied to everybody with just some comments on your code. So I hope that's good. I hope you found those useful and awesome. I picked a few assignments out that I wanted to kind of show off and talk about a little bit. So this is the first one. This is the first implementation. So if you don't remember, the homework was to write a program that prints out the lyrics to 99 bottles of beer on the wall. So this is one of them. This is kind of what I would expect, what I expected most assignments to look like. And unfortunately, the font size that I've kind of increased to. So there we go. So basically we kind of start with a variable named beer bottles that we set to 99. Kind of a good practice. Some people will say like, hey, what's up? Some people will say like magic numbers in your code, is not good. You kind of want to make them a variable because, if you have 99 all over the code, like what the fuck does that mean? So cool, we created a variable called 99. While the number of beer bottles we have is greater than 1, we print, a number of beer bottles of beer on the wall, blah, blah, blah. Subtract 1 bottle of beer, and then, whoops, print the next line. And then, so this print double thing is to print an extra blank line. You don't actually need that. You can just print by itself will make a blank line like that. What's up, Billy MF Mays? Thank you for the host, Billy. So print, if you haven't noticed yet, automatically appends what's called a new line character to the end of your string when you print it. So you can actually just do print by itself. So then finally, we subtract 1, we get down to 1 bottle of beer on the wall. So of course this no longer is true because 1 is not greater than 1. And then this is just hard-coded print 1 last bottle of beer on the wall, and then kind of the end. So this is pretty much what I expected, and indeed most people's code, was essentially looked like this, and we print it, and it prints, the lyrics.
Mine was slightly different.
Yeah, there were some pretty funny ones.
This is mine,
that I enjoyed. Let's see, I had another one I wanted to show. Oops, yeah, I'll leave this page. So this is another one that is basically the same thing. Can you do minus equals? Yes, you can. So this is just kind of a more compact version. What I liked about this is the author of this one did not special case the 1 bottle of beer on the wall case. So like the last one just had everything, the 1 bottle of beer passage hard-coded. This one was actually done inside the loop, so that was really cool. A little compact. The only thing I would say is, don't get in the habit of doing single letter variable names with like very minor exceptions, because you'll look at it, in 2 months you'll be like, what the fuck does A mean? But other than that, like, this is a fantastic solution as well.
You will get slightly bad English when you get to the one though on that.
Yeah,
1 bottles of beer on the wall.
That's true. That's true. You do. You can do a little shortcut to fix
mine.
that.
I did if it equals this, print this instead.
And then I want to share this one that I thought was really funny. I thought this was one of the funnier ones I saw. This one uses some advanced Python stuff to drunkify the lyrics as time goes on. So if you print, it starts. If you can see some things start getting spelled wrong, and there's extra letters kind of at random. So I thought that was really, really cute. I really enjoyed that one. This one was pretty funny. Anytime you see something called calc drunk level, I really I really enjoyed that. So excellent job to the authors. This was a great one. And then print then the fuckers died from liver failure. That was great. So good job everybody.
These my gosh,
I know
really
this one, it just gets drunker and drunker as it goes on. So this is just till it's like, I will put the link in the chat for this. There you go. So that was a really, really cool one I saw. And then the fuckers died from liver failure. So this is a great one to see while I was going through grading them all. But yeah, overall everyone did a really good job on it. There were just few minor issues that people had, a little bit around code structure, but like I said, everybody did a pretty good job. Cool. So does anyone have any questions about 99 bottles of beer, or we'll just kind of move on to today's stuff? How does that sound?
More drunker.
More junker.
Yep. I'm now working on getting it to count up to like, thousands.
Yeah,
Or count down.
Cletos made theirs. His print
Mine is the worst.
instead of like the numeral like 2 would print TWO and print out all the, which is a really interesting problem. It's kind of a fun thing to actually. That might be the homework. That's a pretty fun one.
Uh-oh. Hey, I'm already done.
Look what Cletos has ruined for everybody. We'll see. Yeah, what's up, Catnip Fields? So do caps and non-caps matter when creating a variable? So this is kind of a multifaceted question. So first your question is, we'll use the REPL for this. So a equals 2, so of course if I type in a, that's 2. If I type in capital A, so capital A is different than lowercase a, right? So if I said, hummus, the variable hummus equals cool, but if I try to reference the variable name with a capital H, that is a different variable. So if I said cool with a capital H, so now hummus, capital H says cool with a capital H, and hummus with a lowercase h just says cool. That being said, there are code standards. Each language and each team, indeed, will have kind of their own way of indicating, capitalization in variables. So, for example, most variables you will see in most code bases will all be, well, at least at the very least, generally start with a lowercase. So, and then you will do for like, I'm trying to think of a good example. So, first color. Well, say we want a variable called first color. So you could do like first underscore color equals red. You do first, that's called just kind of underscore, for a space. Some people will just kind of smash it together like that, first color equals red. And some people will do what's called camel case, where you do first, and then the first character of the variable is lowercase, and then the first letter of the second word is uppercase. So something like that. And the compiler doesn't really care. Just be consistent is the only thing I will ask. So like if you start using camel case, use camel case everywhere. If you use underscores everywhere. In general, Python code, they like underscores in between variable names. So really, like Java, a lot of Java code you'll see does camel case, which is this one. A lot of C code kind of does this or this. A lot of Python does this. So there you go. It's half personal preference, half what the code base and what everybody else on the planet uses. So great question, Catnip. Great question. All right. Anything else? Other than that, I will just go. Oh, really? Well, I do that totally backwards then, Jimbo. So Jim Bob, is it Jim Boob or Jim Bob? Jim Boob has told me that, so PEP 8 is kind of the Python style guide. So camel case for variables and underscore for function names. I think when I write Python, I just do underscore for everything, so whoops. I'll have to fix that. Like if you look at my code bases in my GitHub, you will see. What convention do I use at my job? I write Scala at my job, so we use Scala convention, which is camel case for variable names. Static constants are, so like first color would be a variable name. Static constants are camel case, except the first character is also capitalized. So that's what I use at my job. Some languages will do kind of the like this. If you're going to make that a static constant, we'll talk about static constants at some point with all caps and an underscore like that. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started then. We're just gonna. Are you late? No, Prince Storm. We just went over homework a little bit, and now we're gonna get into the meat of the lesson. So last week we talked a bit about lists, but we didn't really do anything with them, and I kind of want to remedy that. We want to talk about lists, so we're going to go over lists really quick one more time. So yeah, I usually use REPL as my primary coding environment. I think I would lose my mind if I did. It's great for small examples, not great for writing complicated things. Anyway,
that's not bad.
So lists. So like I said, like we talked about, you can have a variable, so like a equals 1, and of course a has the value 1, b equals 2, and b is 2. You can also have lists, so instead of a variable being just one thing, it can be a list of things. So I can say, let's see, Fibonacci Let's see. So Python said, let's see, PEP8 is camel case, so I guess I should do camel case. Fibonacci numbers equals 1 or 0, 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8. So these are 8. So those are first few numbers of the Fibonacci sequence. The Fibonacci sequence basically starts 0, 1, and then you get the next number by adding the previous two together. So you start 0, 1. The next one is 1 because 0 plus 1 is 1. The next one is 2 because 1 and 1 is 2. Then 3 because 2 and 1 is 3. Then 5 because 3 and 2 is 5, and then 8 because 5 and 3 is 8, and then you keep going. Cool. So this is a list. Python, you define list with this open bracket to start the list, close bracket to define the list's end, and then use commas to separate every what we call element. So this list has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 elements to them. Lists don't only have to contain numbers. Lists can contain strings. So we can say chatters equals, let's see who's been talking in chat. Yes, I am Jen. How you doing? So Jen says something. Jen, let's see, who else has been chatting? Nanthelis. I had to say it right as I was typing it out. Don't savor the flavor, Nanthelis. I will keep mispronouncing it. And Lieutenant Hummus. Whoops. So you can have a list of strings. So if I type in chatters, that is a list of strings. If I type in, oh, I don't tap completion. If I type in Fibonacci
Adversary
numbers.
CS would like to know if there's a difference between lists and arrays here.
Notice. So there is a difference between lists and arrays. If you're familiar with other languages, adversary CS, lists in Python are basically array lists from Java or vectors from C++. For now, don't worry about arrays in Python. So lists are growable, they're shrinkable, they're not like static sized like arrays are. But essentially they serve more or less the same purpose. Awesome, Razoreth. We are talking about coding. So yes, so lists can be lists of strings, they can be lists of numbers, you can even mix them together. It's like mixed things equals, I don't know, 1, hello, 2, I guess from the other side. I can't think of anything besides Adele lyrics. Sure, we can even throw a Boolean in there. So this has 3 different types and it has a number. It has a couple numbers. It has strings and it has Booleans. So there we go. Cool, so let's talk about what lists can be good for. So if I clear this, you keep state, right? Fibonacci numbers. Cool. So, and then chatters, right? Cool. So we can access individual elements. Remember, we talked about this last week. You can access individual elements of lists by using this syntax that's open bracket, the number of the element, and then the close bracket. So like chatters 0 will be Jen. So remember, the elements are numbered starting with 0. So this is element number 0 is Jen. Element number 1 is Nanthelis, and element number 2 is Lieutenant Hummus.
Catnip
Right.
Fields wants to know if you add an element to the list, do you have to retype the previous ones too, or can you just add one more somehow?
Catnip Fields, Wolf Darrigan answered that, but I will talk about that in a little bit more. So there you go. So chatters 0 is Jen, of course. Chatters 1 is Nanthelis. So let's do something cool. What Fibonacci numbers? So what is the result of this? Fibonacci numbers 2 plus Fibonacci's 3.
Apparently I'm really loud. You
Oh,
wanna
I'll
turn
turn
the
you down.
Discord down?
Yeah, I'll turn you down in just a second.
Sorry, chat.
Okay, that should be better.
Welcome, Harsha.
3? Sure about that?
Awesome, Harsha. Welcome. So let's see. People, I see some quorum with 3. Should I go with that? Alright, I'll wait another 10 seconds for some more guesses to roll in while I drink some more coffee. Because damn, coffee, man. It's a long day at work today. Long day. Alright, so what do we get? We get 3. Because Fibonacci numbers 2 is this. Fibonacci's numbers 3 is this. So there you go. Does that make sense to everyone? So just to be clear, Fibonacci numbers 2 is 1, Fibonacci numbers 3 is 2, and of course 1 plus 2 is 3. Cool! We can also use negative indices. This is a nice little trick. So Fibonacci numbers -1 will actually get me the last element of the list. So that will get me 8, which is kind of nice. So, oh man, maybe I had too much coffee. Let's see, what else? You can also find out the length of a list. So if you want to say, I have this number, Fibonacci numbers, or I have this list, Fibonacci numbers, and I want to know how long it is, if you wrap it in len, open parenthesis, and you say Fibonacci numbers, that will give you the length. So it will say 7, because there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 things in it. So what does this print? Or what? Yeah, what is the length of chatters? Man, I have this other song stuck in my head now that's not Barbie Girl.
Captain Flurry would like to know, is -2 the second to last item on the list?
Yes, it is. So yes, indeed, everyone that is saying 3, Half-Life 3 confirmed. Len Chatters is indeed 3. Okay, so let's clear this, give ourselves some more room. Let's talk about chatters for a second. So somebody asked, how do you add things to the list? So the way you add things to the end of the list is using the append method. So, for example, let's add another person to our chatters list. Chatters.append. Let's see, catnip fields. Whoops, I have to make it a string. So what this does is now chatters has catnip fields at the end of it. So that's pretty easy. If I append something else, ddog747 I see in the chat. Now, of course, the list will have Jen, Nathan Yellis, Nanthalis, Lieutenant Hummus, Catnip Fields, and ddog747. Oh, that is... So, Alfalfa Scout is asking, why does len start with 1 but the indices start with 0? So, len is just counting the number of elements in the list. Yeah, it's just the number of things in the list, right? Like, you count, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, I counted that right. Good. I know how to count, everyone. The reason why indices start with 0 is kind of historical reasons. It has to do with the way C works and the way arrays work. Catnip Fields wants to know, what if you want to insert somewhere in the middle? There's an insert method. So now I will teach you something really cool. There is a link you can go to where Python will tell you. So you might be asking, like, well, I can do .append. What are some other cool things you can do? And there is a link that I'm going to paste into chat right now. That link has everything you can do. So if you go to the list section, don't worry about other things. This will have everything you can do on a list. Actually, that has just some of them. Sorry, that's the more on lists thing I typed. Someone can find the actual list. Hold on. I'll find it for you. I won't be that lazy. Boom. Okay, yeah, actually that'll have everything you need. Append, extend, insert, remove, pop. Okay, cool. Alright, let's see. So, any questions about that?
Jim Bob has one.
Jim Bob, how do I get certain so Jim Bob, what you want is what's called array slicing. So array slicing is something I have to keep remembering how to do because I always fuck up the indices. So array slicing is where if I say chatters 1, 3, what that will do is that you give it two numbers where you want to start, and that's, I'm going to use the word inclusive, so that means including this, so where you want to start. So I want to start on the 1th element, which is Nanthalis, and I want to end on the third. It's not third though, right? The element with the index 3, but don't include this, right? So for example, chatters 1:3 is Nanthalis and myself, but you wanted a Nanthalis, so this would be 1, 4 if you wanted those 4 people. So that's array slicing. Okay, everyone cool there? Yep.
Yeah, I am super cool.
Okay, so now let's write some code to use lists, because this is fun. And I'm going to take this chatters list because I like it. So why? Okay, so Wolf Darrigan, we will get to that at some point. I don't know if we're going to talk about that sort of thing yet. Why does 1:3? Yeah, because so Catnip Fields. Catnip Fields is asking why does 1:3 only give you two elements? So the first number is inclusive, which means including this element. The second number is exclusive, meaning not including this. So this basically says, give me chatters, start at element 1, and give me that one, and stop at element 3, don't give me that one. Yes, Harisha. Yeah, you can do like chatters :3, and that will give you like this just becomes like assumed 0. So yeah, Harisha, you can do that. Jimbo, what if then you have to start combining lists, which we will talk about later. Okay, so let's write some code. Whoop, that went full screen. That's not what I wanted. So chatters equals this. Okay. And let's kind of make this somewhat easy to read with my silly big font. Alright, cool. Whoops, don't run that. Okay, so this is how you would define a list that looks like in code. So, like I said, if I said print chatter, so what does this print? Okay, so everyone go ahead and tell me what this prints. Okay, so I think people are starting to get the answer. Of course, this prints Nanthelus, ddog747, and Catnip Fields, because chatters with index 1 is Nanthelus, chatters 4 is ddog, remember 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then chatters -2 is Catnip Fields, the second from the end.
Whee!
Okay, so now, using everything we've learned, we're going to write a loop to print every single person in this list. Okay, so what do we know? We know how while loops work. We know how to get the length of the list, and we know how to print things. So let's do this. So first off, we're going to say we need to keep track of where we are. Okay, so we're just going to make a variable called I. Now, I know I complained about single letter variables, but it's kind of convention that when you're writing a loop that has like what we call the index variable, you just use the single letter I.
Oh, now you
So
tell me.
now we're going to use our while. So while I is less than the length of chatters, remember you get the length of a list by using len, and now colon print chatters sub I. Okay, so what is this going to do? So this is going to set I to 0.
I wish I knew about that len
I know.
before I did my homework.
I bet you did.
I got around that.
Alright, so let's see. I is equal to 0. So while I is less than the length of chatters, so the length of chatters is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So while I is less than 5, print chatters sub I. So the first time we go through the loop, right, I is 0. So we're going to print chatters sub 0, right? We're going to go back to the top. I is now... Oh, actually, fuck. I have a bug. This is really fun, huh? This is why programming is hard, because I can't even write a damn while loop without fucking it up.
Wait, what happened?
What? Well, what will this print? Tell me. What will this print? I haven't seen anyone actually tell me what this will print. Yes, everyone is pointing out helpfully that I forgot to
Yep.
write I plus equals 1. So
it's
this
just gonna,
so it's just gonna print Jen forever and ever and ever and ever and ever and ever.
This is exactly what I did multiple times.
Yep,
when
it'll
I was
just print
doing my
Jen.
homework.
Whoops.
I did that
My
so
bad.
many times. I'm like, oh yeah, the math part.
The math, I know, it's hard. Alright, so this plus equals basically is shortcut for this line. So I plus equals 1 is shortcut for take I and just add 1 to it.
Oh wow, I wish I'd known that too.
Yeah, well. So now, what will this print?
Let's see.
Yeah, math is hard. Especially adding, incrementing is
Actually,
hard.
having the math be there is hard.
It's okay. We're going to talk about ways to make this easier in a minute or two. Right. So now this is going to print every single person in the list. Yes, yes, Wolf, I know. There's better ways to do this. Okay. So now, what if I did this? What will this print? Actually... I can't think of the... Okay, that's better. So what will that print? No, Wolf, it does not. Yeah, plus plus is not an operator in Python. Neither the post increment nor the pre-increment. Yep, Python does not have that. So I plus equals 1 is what you got. I mean, it kind of makes sense because then your sequence points get kind of weird, like especially if you've never, you know, thing. Yeah, I know. I didn't bother. I didn't bother making the right English suffixes on the number, the right ordinal numbers. So that's okay. Correct, Ruben B994. I plus equals 2 would mean an increment of 2 every loop. Correct. All right. So if we run this, the 0th chatter is Jen. The 1th chatter is Nathanielus. The 2th chatter is Lieutenant Hummus. The 3rd, yeah, I know, chatter is Catnip Fields. The 4th chatter is DDog747. Cool. So to answer Ruben B's question, what would this do? Alfalfa Scout. That is a... What is this? Oh, nobody cares. Yeah, so what would this print? Yes, Ruben B. That is correct. How to remove the space? We'll talk about that.
You add a plus instead of a comma. That's all you got to do. For this one, anyway.
Yeah, so that is one way. There are other ways to do
Or
it.
you turn the number into a...
Yep, so Bill...
into
Oh,
a
God, no.
straight verse.
These are all going to be, knocked... What was I going to say? Highlight at me in the chat. But yes, Billy MF Mays is correct.
Jen and D-Dog.
So it would be 0th, and of course we're going to skip 2, so now I is going to be 2. 2nd chatter is Lieutenant Hummus. 4th chatter is D-Dog. And of course, so Ruben B994 also points out, or also asked, if minus equals subtracts. So yes, minus equals is subtracts. There's also star equal for multiply. So like I star equal 2 would be, you know, multiply by 2. Divide equal 2 is divide by 2. Okay, so who's ready for a challenge?
Me!
Alright, you all ready for a challenge? I want you to take this code, and I want you to modify it so the list prints backwards. So instead of going Jen, Nathanielus, Lieutenant Hummus, Catnip Fields, D-Dog, it goes D-Dog, Catnip Fields, Lieutenant Hummus, Nathanielus, Jen.
Easy, just write the list backwards.
without changing the list. All right, I'll give you all a few minutes to, or a minute or two to go and figure that out. So make the list print backwards. Yes, you have to use a loop, or else it's no fun. Like if you just hard code everything out, you've missed the point. And then, like I always ask, like people in interviews, be like, "Oh, well, that's easy. Like if you only have 5 names, like okay, well, we're a large company. What if we're like 10,000 names?" Yeah, Jim Bob. I know there are more Python ways to do this, but we're going with this for now. Yes. So, thank you, Jim Bob, for your message. I know. So I want this to print backwards, or in reversed order, as they would say. So Valiant, it does, but I want you to do this without reversing the list. You cannot modify the list or create a new list or do anything like that. Alright, let's see. Does anyone need... actually, I can ask in chat. Give another minute or two.
You have one answer so far.
Yeah, I saw that. Oh, I see another one.
Now you have two.
I see two. See, Wolf Durgan has given me a solution. Nice. You're going to reverse the string? Nice. Nice. Well done, Valiant. Okay. So let's talk about the solution. So basically what does this do? This goes from I equals, so it starts with I equals 0, and then we go through the loop, incrementing every time. So instead we want to go backwards. So we can set I to be the len of chatters -1. So remember, we want to do -1 because the indices start at 0. So if we just did, so this is, remember, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So len is chatters so len of chatters is 5, right? But if we try to do, so let's see, do I still have this in here? Yeah, so if I try to do chatters 5, you're going to error out. It's going to say, hey, I don't know what this means. So that's why you have to subtract 1 in order to get the last element. Then you say, well, I is greater than or equal to 0. Because remember, we want to go through while it's still 0, and then I minus equals 1. So if we run that, hopefully it works. I don't embarrass myself. There we go. So the fourth chatter is ddog, and we go down. Okay, does anybody have any questions? Let's see. Yeah, so you could have done clever things with negative indices, but this I think is probably the easiest way. Any questions on that before we move on? Okay, so this, let's go back to printing the list forwards real quick. So I 0, I is less than len of chatters, and then I plus 0 is 1. So we get to that. Woohoo, we're back to where we were. So now we're going to talk about for loops. So a for loop is a special kind of loop that you need to give a list to. And what this does is it will go through the for loop one time for every element in the list. So here's what that means. So here's what the syntax looks like. For x in chatters, print x. So what this does is it's going to say, for every element of chatters, I'm going to go through this loop once, and every time I go through it, X is going to be the current chatter, and it will go through this in order. So this will print everybody's name. Because, so what's going to happen? So for X and chatters, so first element in the list is Jen. So we set Jen to X, we go in, we print X, then we come back out for X and chatters. Who's next? Nathanielus. So we go print Nathanielus. Go back to the top. Who's next? Hummus. So we print Lieutenant Hummus. Who's next? Catnip Fields. So we print Catnip Fields because Catnip Fields is now X. We go back to the top. DDog747 is next, so that is assigned to X. And we print X, which is DDog. We go back to the top. Okay, nobody's left in chatters, so we exit the loop.
How does it get assigned to X?
What do you mean? How does it get
I mean, how does it like? Wait, does it just?
So
I mean,
that's just what the for loop does. Is it assigns every element in the list in turn to the variable you specify. Okay.
You would kind of have to read it backwards. You're starting with chatters and then saying,
yeah,
okay, in chatters, I'm going to call the first thing X, and then I'm going to print X, and then I'm going to go back to the beginning and call the second thing X, and I'm going to print X, and then I'm going to call the third thing X. But it's at indice 0, indice 1, indice 2, until I get to the end of chatters.
Right. So Catnip Fields asks, do you have to use X? You do not. You can say like something for name in chatters, print name, so that will work just fine.
Does the X become a variable?
Yeah, so the X is essentially a variable. I was gonna say, yeah. You can also do like for chatter in chatters. Yeah, that's true. K-Cringe is right. For anything, including X is sloppy. I mean, name is fine. Generally, you want these to be descriptive, right? So for name in chatters, print name is totally fine. So does anyone have any questions about that? Because I'm going to talk about one more thing. Well, actually, yes, I have a question. So let's talk about this. So Fibonacci numbers, numbers equals 0, 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8. 13. 8 plus 13 is 21. 21 plus 13 is 34. Cool. So, oops. So if I do this, numbers.
Ruben wants to know if these for loops can also be reversed.
They can, but not quite in the same way. I will cover that. Just, I want you to tell me, let's see, for number in print number. What does this print? Yeah, Ruben, I will answer that question. Yes, you can, Timon. You can indeed.
Yeah, I mean, that would be pretty simple math.
Alright, so we're getting some lists of numbers that look good, and indeed, yep, this goes through every element and prints it incremented. So for number in Fibonacci numbers, print number. So the first time we go through, number is 0, so 0 plus 1 is 1, so we print it. Next time we go through the loop, number is now 1, so 1 plus 1 is 2, we print it. Next one is 1 again, because we're on this one now. Print number plus 1, that is again, 1 plus 1 is still 2, so it's 2. And then 2 plus 1 is 3, and so on and so on and so on and so on and so on. Okay, cool. So let's talk a little bit more about lists. So can I Control Z a bunch of times? Okay, I actually got to where I want. Okay, so actually let's move this back into the here. Okay. So chatters. We have our list again. Actually, any questions before I go? How useful would a REPL bot be for Twitch chat? I don't know. Could be fun, could be spammy. We'll see. Go do it, it'll be fun. You just finished your Django project? Nice job, Passa Guy. I have used Django before. I've been a really big I've been a really big fan of Flask as far as web frameworks for Python goes. My last project, Spy Party, the Spy Party Drafter was written on top of Flask. Can you somehow split for loop? I'm not. You have to clarify, Catnip. I'm not quite sure what you want to do. You can, but you have to use like if statements and more messy stuff. That's right, Sarucha, Nix. Whoops, excuse me. Okay, so couple things I didn't talk about. Why Flask over Django? I'll talk to. Ask me after this. If you stick around to the end, I will take all sorts of questions.
Ask after class.
Ask after the class why I prefer or why I used Flask over Django. Okay, let's see. That's okay, PTO 500. Don't worry about it. So chat. This list is not set in stone. Like we said, we can already. We know how to append things to it, so chatters.append, who's the last person to talk. PTO 500 is the last person to talk. So now chatters has PTO 500 added to the end. We can also replace people, so chatters 2, which is me, you can say equals Fu Manchu. And now if we print it, instead of me, you have Fu Manchu. Hooray! So those are just a couple little fun things you can do for lists. And then I pasted the Python list stuff somewhere. Hold on, let me find that. Basically, if you just Google Python list documentation, you will find it. I think I talked about Googling in the last class, but there it is again. Cool. All right, so anybody have any questions? Yeah, I got wrecked. I don't know. I felt it would be mean to replace anyone else. Like, you're no longer a chatter, so just replace my name. And then this is the part where it's like, oh yeah, I was always going to talk about replacing elements, and I put my name in the list just for fun. All right, cool. Any other questions about that before I move on to one last topic and then one more last topic?
Okay.
All right, I'm going to take a quick break. I will be right back, and I will answer any questions because I've been drinking a ton of coffee. Seriously, don't become a programmer, or else you just drink coffee all fucking day. Alright. Oops. How do you editing?
You can delete it.
Alright, good.
Someone was asking how to stop an infinite loop, and the only real way is to close the window.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, when you're running it on your computer locally, which is something I will talk about in the future, you can just kind of kill the program, but, yeah. Okay, cool. So, were there any questions? Alright, let's talk about EU-friendly stream. Man, I know. I gotta figure out an EU-friendly schedule. It's hard. Like, I'm on the West Coast, which is like the exact opposite convenient time for, streaming to the EU, especially because like I have a full-time job, so when it's your evening, it's like noon for me, so I'm like at work.
Are you doing anything next Monday? It's a holiday.
Yeah, I have to work next Monday. In fact, that reminds me, I'm sorry to disappoint you all, but I will not be able to do part 4 of this next Tuesday. No. I know, I will not be able to do it next Tuesday. So I'm deciding either to move it to Thursday or just skip next week. I don't know which is going to work better. Let me know in the chat what you think. Alright, anyway. Let's talk about something cool.
Yay.
Shall we?
I like cool things.
I do too.
Cool things are cool.
They are.
Yeah, I'm on the west. Yeah, I'm in Pasadena. I'm in Seattle, so not quite San Francisco. Like San Francisco's younger brother, I guess. I don't know. All right, so we're going to talk about functions now. So functions are going to be the big kind of part where things might get a little wonky. So I'm going to describe them slowly. I'm going to go over them a bunch, and we're going to do it. All right. So actually, shit. Let me grab my iPad and set something up that I should have done before stream. Hold on a second.
I think you mean Thursday, Wolf Darrigan, but yeah.
Actually, Wolf, that is a damn good idea.
I was just gonna say
that's
Wolf had
a
really
damn
great...
good idea. Yeah, maybe on Tuesday or on Thursday, I'll just talk about. We'll do something out of like normal band. So if you miss it, that's fine. And if you go, like maybe you'll learn something cool. You're from Berkeley? Awesome. I love Berkeley. Let me just set this up real quick. Sorry, I should have done this earlier, but I didn't think I was going to use it. Actually, here's the thing. I knew I was going to use it, but I forgot. Like, I was like, oh yeah, I know exactly how I'm going to explain this, but then I just kind of forgot. What was that collaborative whiteboard thing I was using? I forgot already.
Doodle something?
Was it? Twiddler, that's what it is. God, that's such a silly name. Such a silly name. Alright, let me go do it on here. So we're going to talk about functions. Now, I'm going to give you a minute to think back to your algebra class.
Jeez.
I know. Go back.
No,
Remember algebra.
I'm having it count down from this thing counts
There we
from
go.
9,999. It's taken a while.
Alright, everyone remember algebra? Everyone
Nope.
happy with algebra? Alright,
all
we'll
a
full
blank.
screen this. Alright. Whoa. Alright, let's see.
Jeez.
Alright, if you slept through algebra, you're not too much in trouble. Hopefully you'll be able to do this alright. Okay. So if you remember from algebra, you had to graph things, right? You remember that. Like, you had to graph stuff like y equals 2x plus 4, right? You remember this?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Alright. And then, you know, if you have an xy plane like this, right? So like 0, 1, or sorry. So this is like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This should be a 4.
Your
Oh, God.
camera and
Yeah,
your chat
yeah, I
are in the
see.
way.
Alright. No more full screen. There we go.
Secrets.
I'm a professional. There we go. Alright, so you remember this stuff, right? Y equals... That's why I have on voice chat. I would have just gone forever.
Yep.
Alright. I'm like, looks fine on my screen. There we go.
I don't know what you're talking about.
So you have like y equals 2x plus 4, right? And then you have this thing, you know. So like, what is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, you know, and 8. So then you would kind of graph this, right? So when x is 0, y is what? 4, right? So 0, and then 1, 2, 3, 4. So y is 4 when x is 0, right? And then when y is 1, you know, 2 times 1 is 2, plus 4 is 6. So when y is 1, or sorry, when x is 1, y is 6, right? You remember this? Not quite K-cringe. I mean, kind of. Yes, I know Python functions are not math functions, but this is how I'm building a bridge. It's alright, don't worry about it. And then, of course, when x is 2, y is 8, right? Because 2 times 2 is 4. 4 plus 4 is 8. So, I wish I had more room. Let's pick another color, because why not? Let's pick a color like this nice kind of purpley thing. Alright, so if we did x and then y, and we kind of wrote a table here, so when x is 0, y is 4. When x is 1, y is 6. When x is 2, y is 8. When x is 3, y is 10. Right? Now, you may have seen this syntax, so I'm going to say, instead of y equals 2x plus 4, you may have said f of x equals 2x plus 4, right? So then, have I lost everyone? Is everyone still with me so far?
Still here.
Still here? Still here? I'm going to wait for chat to catch up. Make sure there's no questions so far. I see there's some data structure discussion going on. Alright, so I have 1 yes. So that means I've not lost everybody. I have 2 yeses. I still have not lost everyone. Alright, good. Alright, good. This is easy as cake. Good. That means we're learning. Alright. So so when we're talking about so f of x equals 2x plus 4. So when we're talking about x at a specific position, right, you can say f of 2, right, equals what? 8. Right? Past guy is not paying attention and is playing CSGO. That's fine. CSGO's good. Right? So, what is f of 10? Just type it out in chat. No, we're not doing functional programming, though, even though I've started to really come into functional programming as being enjoyable. instead of torturous like it was in my comparative programming class. Right, okay, cool. So everyone's got this. Yeah, it's 24. Alright, good.
I did it wrong.
Okay, so let's erase all this now. We are good. What did I just do? I don't know. Someone figure out the number of this? I hope not. I thought I did a good job hiding it. But who knows? It's probably on screen somewhere that I don't know. Alright, so let's erase all this.
No, I guessed.
You guessed?
Yeah.
How did you guess? I don't want to know.
Yeah, I'm not saying out loud.
Was it one that I... Oh, was it one that I've used before?
No.
Fascinating. Alright, cool. Anyway. Yeah, let's move on to vector calculus. So, okay, so an integral now. No, I'm just kidding. Actually, that was an ugly integral symbol. Alright. So let's go back to our function, right? F of x equals 2x plus 4. Let's erase that, make that a little... let's erase that, make that a little prettier.
Gosh, or you could use this and have it typed out really nice.
Fuck that. Doesn't work on my iPad. Oh no.
What did you do?
What did you do?
I didn't do anything.
Tune. Clear all. Yes, really clear the canvas, thank you. Alright, let's go back to what we were talking about. F of x equals 2x plus 4. So think about it this way. We have a box, right, called f. We have some number go in and some number come out, right? This is exactly what we've talked about. So Python has the exact same concept, and indeed most programming languages have the exact same Python, except instead of just kind of doing a simple calculation like this, they can do any bit of code. Okay? Any bit of code. So let's talk about that right now. Alright, everything cool now?
Mm-hmm.
Everyone cool? Have I lost anyone?
Nope.
So I'm just gonna so if, 15 goes into the box, what comes out? Type it in the chat. We're talking, I know 2 of those 3 very well. Happier day. I know very little C++. I know enough to write Hello World by accident. I basically know how to accidentally use G++ instead of GCC.
Woo,
Alright, cool. So everyone says 34. Alright, good. Good.
Yay, man.
So let's... But isn't F the same what comes out? Kind of, Catnip Fields. It's gonna be a little more clear in just a second. So in Python, you define functions with the word... Oh, actually, let me switch back to this. I'm gonna define a few terms right now. I'm gonna define 1 term, 2 terms. Fuck that, 2 terms.
Okay.
So the first term is this f. This we're just going to call the name. You'll see why I'm a programmer and not a handwriting person, because I have just terrible goddamn handwriting. And we're going to call this an argument, which, if I actually knew how to spell, does not begin with a G. Nope, beat you to it. So, and besides, if I can't type anything out because then I can't use my cool iPad pen. Okay, so the F is the name and the X is the argument. So in Python, we define functions by using the word def, D-E-F, which is short for define, because programmers hate typing. So we just do def. So we do def F, so we're going to call this, name. Actually, we'll redo the function we just did. So F X. So like I said, I love how I'm like, don't use single character variable names or function names, and now I'm like just doing it. So, and then a colon, you say return 2 times x plus 4. So what does this do? So def f of x print defines a function named f that takes an argument named x. Exactly what we said. Yeah, I know, Catnip. Yeah, 58 viewers. Well, welcome everybody. I hope you're enjoying this. This is the 3rd in a series that I'm doing once a week. I hope you're enjoying this. I hope you're learning this. Hey, be very nice what you say about Java programmers. I wrote Java professionally for like 6 years. And then this return. So return is a new thing we haven't seen before. What does return do? Return basically tells Python, this is what I want the result of the function to be. So like if we go back to this, right? What comes out of the box is the return, what we call in programming, a return value. So yes, Ruben B, we will talk about that in a second. I think Python has a limit of 31 arguments in a function. Don't quote me on that, but if you're using 31 functions, you're probably doing it wrong. So return basically means pass this back. Okay. So what if I did what if I do this? I've always defended Java. I mean, every language is fucking terrible, but you know, Java has its you know, bad and it's good. So what does this print? Okay, so if we print it, this is indeed 24. So what happens? We go into, so this says calculate f of 10. So this goes, x becomes 10, and then and then it's just simple algebra. 2 times 10 is 20, plus 4 is 24. Okay, so now what if I did this? I'll just call it less than. Okay, so what does that print? Is a function the same as a method? For now, yes. Really, not really. Computers are weird.
You need
What?
extra thing.
Oh, fuck. God damn
Who
it.
needs extra things?
You need.
There we go. There we go.
you go.
Pretend that. Pretend I did that shit. It's like I'm. God damn it.
Yes, Catnip, you are correct.
Yes, Catnip, you are correct. I am on a roll with remembering to incrementing things. I'm on a roll today. Alright, what is this print? This is why writing code like live is really scary. How to install WX Python? Probably pip jvoxo. Alright, let's see. I'll wait for a couple more answers. Or just people to go what Nathaniel said.
Yeah.
So yeah, this
I'm
basically...
not doing the math.
Alright, so let's walk through this real quick. So number is 0. Well, number is less than 10. Print f of number. So number is 0 the first time through the loop. So f of 0 is 2 times 0 is 0, plus 4 is 4, so we return that. And we print 4. Then we increment number by 1, so now number is 1. 1 is still less than 10, so we go back into the loop. F of 1, so what is f of 1? F of 1 is 2 times 1 plus 4, which is 6. We return 6, bring it back here. And then, you know, we keep going. I think, does this make sense to everybody? Yes, I'll give 30 seconds for Twitch chat to catch up, and then we will go on. And then we're going to talk about really fun functions.
Oh no.
I know. We're going to have some fun today. Yeah, that's true. Hello, Theorem. You are absolutely true. You're right. What if it prints you may have connectivity problems? Then I think you may have connectivity problems. For loops in Scala are a fucking trip, though, man. They're so cool. Alright. I need help for advanced Java programming. Happier day. If you stick around till the end of class, I will be happy to help you with your advanced Java programming. Okay, so somebody asked about what can we have functions with 2 variables, and yes, you can, or 2 arguments. So let's say def add x, y, return x plus y. Right? So if I say print add, what does this print? Correct. I see a lot of people saying 6.
Yeah.
Alright, so yes, x becomes 10, y is -4, and of course 10 plus -4 is 6. Alright, so now here's a challenge. I want you to fill in... What should I have you all write? Let's see. No, okay. Let's do one more example, and then I'll have you write something. So now, arguments don't only have to be numbers. So first I need to teach you something about strings. You can add strings. I didn't tell you this, but you can add strings. So if A equals hello with a space, and B equals world, A plus B is hello world. Right? Bet you didn't know that. Or maybe you did. Maybe you experimented.
Yeah.
But you can
But
add strings.
They get smushed together.
They do get smushed together. There is no space. That's why I had to put the space there.
It is
Make us writing a left-leaning
Yeah.
red-black tree with top-down deletion. Get out of here. All right. So
Nutella,
if
it's
I
nice.
said def say hello, we took a name. Let's print. Let's see. Alright, so what does this print?
It's an awful lot of work to just do hello name when you typed hello like
I
4
know.
times.
These are, you know,
Yep.
hello
Efficiency.
scrub. I know these are convoluted examples, but we'll get to more complex things soon. Can I quickly go over def? Yeah, so def defines a function. So this line 1, says, I'm defining a function called say hello that takes a single argument, and the argument is called name. And then return is what we pass back to where we called it.
You're letting Python know that you're going to start naming a function.
Correct. So yeah, people have got it right. It says hello Lieutenant Hummus, hello Billy MF Mays. Alright. So now, here's the challenge. I want you to write a function that takes a name and it says, you know, Coulter, that's what this REPL has, so whatever. Python 2.7, I haven't really toyed with Python 3 that much, so God damn it, that's gonna be a GIF somewhere. So I want you to write a function that takes a name and it returns the string hello and then the name. My name is and then your name. So I'll go ahead and let you write that. And I will not leave, and I will just sit here staring at the camera, drinking my now empty coffee. Now empty coffee. It's all gone. Why is the rum gone?
Ruben wants you to repeat whatever you just said.
Yeah, so essentially, I want you to write a function that will do this. If I said, you know, say hello, Lieutenant Hummus, this should... Oops, I'll put it above just to... And then 994. So something like that. Of Yeah. Basically, I've been writing in Python 2 for a long time, and I've been like, I don't feel like switching to Python. If I need Python 3 for something really badly, I'll learn Python 3, but Python 2 is fine now. Okay. I'll give people another minute to do that. Oh god. Oh god. Alright, you don't have to type it in chat, Dingleberry. If you do want to send me a link, like if you click the save button up here, it will give you a link you can paste into chat if you'd like. Slick Unlimited, what do you mean? Excuse me. Do you want two variables? Because we're learning how functions work, Slick Unlimited. That is why. Okay, so super ugly, because why not? Let's see what Nathanielus has. Yep, that will work. You were gonna do it in Capalang, but this is gonna take forever. Yeah, don't do it in Capalang, or do if you do it in Capalang. Oh yeah, no worries, Slick Unlimited. We're just learning. I mean, a lot of these things when you start to learn code become like kind of convoluted, and you have to kind of come up with these solutions, but that's okay. Let's see what Catnip Field says. Very cool. Alright. So everyone kind of got that, right? So you can just add plus. Whoops. Oh no, why are you not typing? There we go. Plus, my name is Lieutenant Hummus. Whoops, there we go. So if we said, say hello to, who's the last person to talk? Catnip Fields. This will print, hello Catnip Fields, my name is Lieutenant Hummus. Cool. Alright, any questions about that? Because now we're going to have functions that do a little bit more. Let's see, Catnip Fields. Where did you add the period? Did you add it inside or the end? Show me the Catnip Fields. If you show me the code that you had an issue with. Okay. Oh, you figured it out? Okay, cool. Can you combine this with raw input? So, yes, you can. But once I get confirmation that there are no more questions from chat, I will talk about more complicated functions. In fact, I am going to take someone's homework. There we go. I'm going to take this homework. Make sure this is the one I want to see. Alright, so no questions, let's go on. Alright, so this was somebody's homework I showed at the beginning of class for 99 bottles of beer, right? Whoop! There we go. Just go like this. Oh no, where'd the syntax highlighting go? That's funny. Okay. So we have a lot of this kind of code here. We're going to make this into a function. So we want to write a function that prints, prints number of bottles of beer on the wall, number of bottles of beer, take one down, pass it around, number of bottles of beer on the wall. Okay?
Oh, no.
I know. So actually, we're just going to write a function that prints this line right here, just to keep it simple for right now. So we're going to say def, print bottles of beer, num bottles. Oh, thank you, Coolher. I'm glad that even folks that already know this stuff are finding this cool. So thank you. That actually means a lot. Thank you so much. So what was the line? I already forgot. I got distracted, which I said I wasn't going to do this stream, but I did anyway. That's all right.
You made it a long time before that
I did make it a
happened.
long time before I got distracted. So we're going to say num bottles, or sorry, we're just going to print num. Whoops. Okay, so we have this function here. Let me extend this line so we can see it. All right, there we go. Cool. Well, thank you. No worries, Retronox. This will all be on YouTube after, standard issue thing. So if you missed any of this or you want to watch it again, it will be on my YouTube channel or my YouTube page. YouTube channel? YouTube? Yeah, it's channel, right? Okay, so what does this do? Whoops. And if you want to save yourself the typing, boom. If you want to save yourself the typing, there you go. For strings, when is Slick Unlimited asks, when is a single quote better than a double quote? It doesn't matter too much, except if you want to put quotes inside of your strings, in which case then use the other kind, right? So, excuse me. So like the string has the quotes in it. So, does that make sense? I don't think I'm... Oh, my code has an error? Shit. What did I do? What did I do? Oh, right. Fuck.
Yeah, well,
Alright, well good. That's your exercise now, is fix this code. Yes! You're right, I do have an issue. I've been writing, there's the code again. I've been writing in Java, which you don't have to do this shit for. So my bad.
I fixed it.
Alright, so you should fix this. Yeah, I've gone back and forth between, like, Python lets you use single quotes, and, like, Scala, other languages like Java, you have to use double quotes, and the single quotes mean something else, so, like, I just become, like, wildly inconsistent. But yeah, this should be force casted to a string, because you can't add integers and strings together. So there we go. My bad. Yeah, we're not having a great night of writing error-free code today. Okay, so now what does this do? Yeah, languages like Python or Scala or, well, C won't let you do it, but languages like that will automatically do the conversion for you. Python, you do not, or you have to do the conversion explicitly. One of Python's design philosophies is explicit is better than implicit, which is why it does a lot of things like this. It's also probably why they don't do tail recursion. But anyway, that's another. Yeah, C is its own fun ball of wax. Alright, so if we run this, does everyone kind of have an idea what this does? So, yeah, this prints 44 bottles of beer on the wall, 44 bottles of beer. Take one down, pass it around. Alright. Something interestingly subtle has come up here, though. And I want you to think about this for a second. I'm going to put that old function we had back up there, right? Say hello.
Oh, I just added commas instead of
Oh, that will do it too.
making them strings.
Yeah. But commas are so boring.
So these functions are different in kind of a subtle way. So if you notice, this returns the string hello name. This, in other words, takes that string hello name. So if we said, say hello Lieutenant Hummus, it would say hello Lieutenant Hummus, and it would take that string and return it to the caller. So this code down here is the caller because it's in parlance we are calling the function. This code doesn't actually return anything. This code does the printing itself. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So like if I actually added a print in front of this, what does that do? I want everyone to type this into your repo if you're like not on a mobile device or anything, and
Print.
run this and see what it does. Kind of catnip. Is there a way to jump to different lines of code? Like if you're talking like in basic, like go to 10? No, don't do that anyway. Catnip fields, kind of. So return basically says take this thing and give it back to where this was called. And if you don't have that, it still returns something. So if you run it, you'll see it prints this none. That's because every function in Python has to return something. So, in this case, if you
like
don't,
null, basically?
yeah, it's kind of like if
There's
you come
no
from another
value
language,
attached
yeah,
to it?
exactly. If you've come from another language, you've probably seen this as null or nil. Basically, this returns something, but it returns the special value none, which just means nothing.
It's like, you moron.
So let's see. So where did I want to go with this? I was gonna talk about. That is good advice, Sakura Nix.
Yeah, because that's because we didn't do a return and give it a value.
Yeah, so this is going to be interesting. So let's do def some magic, which is a terrible name for a function. Don't ever do that. A B. All right. So what does this do? What does that print? Why is this? It's a terrible name because it just says some magic. It's not very. Function names should ideally be very descriptive, or somewhat descriptive about what they do. So magic, like what the fuck? Like if pretend I can't see this this function before. Like I can't see lines 1 through 3, and all I saw was this line. I would have no idea what the fuck that does. So what does this print? Like if I were to click run right now, what would I see on the right hand side? Okay, so some people are getting this right. So we print I am in some magic 16. So let's walk through this code together. So on line 5 we say print some magic for 8. So we go into some magic with A is 4 and B is 8. Then we get to this line print I am in some magic, which we do. Then we return 2 times A plus B, which if you do the math is 16. And now some magic has returned 16, which we then print. Okay, does that make sense? So, let's keep with Adele. Okay, so now what is this print? Why is it on another line? Oh, did I? Yeah, I'll answer your question, Slick Unlimited, when I respond to this. So what does this print? Or eval plays will just answer it for me. So print, when you use the print thing, print keyword, it will append a what's called oh, excuse me, a new line character to the end. Sorry, JLF. I'm sorry that you find this boring, but this is, meant for new programmers. We all had to start somewhere. I remember I did not know what an if statement was. There was a point in my life where I didn't know what an if statement was. I didn't come out of the womb, knowing what this is. Although if you did come out of the womb knowing how to program, that would be particularly impressive. Nathaniel, can a function return multiple things? Yes, but we won't talk about that today. Alright, so Billy MF Mays got it right. It'll say, hello, is it me you're looking for? I'm in some magic. 16, hello from the other side. So what do? We go print, hello, is it me you're looking for? We know that already. Just print that. Then we go inside some magic for 8. So A is 4, B is 8. We print this line, I am in some magic, which is here. Oh, it's okay, JLF9. No worries. I just want to make sure people get this because this is kind of the first thing where people start to fall, off the bandwagon. And then we return the 16, which we print, and then we print hello from the other side again. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I know. I don't know why I keep going back to Adele. Clearly, in honor of last night's stream, I should do Spice Girls lyrics. Okay, so here's another thing I want you to do. Okay, and I'm going to delete these lines because who cares? Actually, no, I'm going to keep them. Just kidding. Probably not tonight. That is absolutely correct, what Luxious June said, and we're going to talk about that. That's going to be kind of my final closing point, which I'm going to get to in just a second, because I've been going for about an hour and a half. Yeah, more lessons on how to not name your functions. I'm bad at names. I don't remember who it was, but there's somebody who said the two hardest problems in computer science are naming things and cache invalidation and naming things. Okay, so what does this code print? Uh-oh. There's gonna be holy wars in my chat soon. That's true, Wolf and Darrigan. I've heard it. The two hardest things are cache invalidation, naming things, and off by one errors. I know these are long strings. No, Reuben B. Some more magic is called on line 8. Oh no, no is elite speak. I have lost control of my string. Don't worry about it, Ruben B. Like, reading code, it takes some getting used to reading like code quickly. And plus, I'm not a huge fan of their syntax highlighting. Like, this is the syntax highlighting I like, just all these random colors.
So
A
many
lot of people make fun of my syntax highlighting schemes, but that's okay. All right. So what does this print? This prints. So it prints, hello, is it me you're looking for? We know that. Then we go into some magic for 8. So some magic for 8, so this A becomes 4, B becomes 8. We print, I am in some magic, right? Actually, I should run this first. So we can. Okay, now we can follow along. Okay, so hello, is it me you're looking for? Then we go into some magic for 8. We print, I am some magic. Then we call some more magic A, B, 10. So that's 4, 8, 10. So now we're in some more magic. Excuse me. A is 4, B is 8, and C is now 10. Where we print, I am in some more magic. Then we print A plus C. So A is, remember, 4. C is 10. So we print 14 because we add them together. Then we come back to where we were. And then we return our 16 that we've been returning. We print it, and then we finally print hello from the other side. Does that make sense to everyone? Yeah, no, this is messy. Don't actually write code like this. We're kind of doing some, contrived examples, but that's okay. Alright, so I think this is where I'm going to end, unless anybody has any questions about functions for now. Miko Duckins, you can, but you shouldn't. We're not going to talk about that. Yeah, we're not going to talk about recursion today. What's the homework? Always got to write the homework. Always got to want the homework. Let's see. God, everyone wants homework.
Ow.
Jesus. Can you explain why you can't add to a null variable? Because null has no meaning. Null is just kind of a placeholder to mean nothing. It's not like 0 or anything. So.
Doesn't exist.
Doesn't exist. Alright, people want some homework. Alright. Actually, didn't think of... Oh! Alright. I have some great homework. I want you to write a function. Yeah, that's true. And people have tried to... That's true, Sakurnix. And people have tried to fix in many random and silly ways. No, Luscious June. We're not going to talk about that today. Alright, so we talked about printing lists, right? I want you to write a function. So I guess write a function that takes a list as an argument. Print that list forwards. Oh, that echoed.
Yeah, that was me.
Print that list forwards. Write another function that takes a list. Print that list backwards. Alright. That is your homework. And then why not? For extra credit, write a third function that prints the list, or that takes a list, print the list both forwards and backwards.
Save this repo.
Use the functions above. What's that?
I want to save this repo and then you can link.
Oh, yeah, that's actually a really good idea. So save. So there's a link to the homework. That is a damn good idea. I'm very curious how this will work when people start forking the repo.